I have played volleyball for the past 8 years. I started in middle school and I find myself now playing at the collegiate level, and I can tell you without a doubt that there are some major lessons that I have learned along the way. Whether it's pieces of advice or wisdom that I still currently practice to this day, or more importantly, failures and the consequences that I have learned from it. These have all helped me become a better volleyball player and find success at different levels of the game. So what I wanted to do for today's video is provide you guys with some volleyball wisdom that I have learned throughout my playing years. And thus I present to you PME Volleyball's top 10 biggest mistakes to avoid in the game of volleyball. Some of these things are just little mistakes that you can cut out that'll help you become a more complete volleyball player. And other of these can be completely game changing if you learn to avoid these bad habits. So I highly recommend you stick around for the entire video so you don't miss out on the piece of advice that could potentially change the way you see the game of volleyball forever. With all of that being said, it would be greatly appreciated if you could leave a like on this video and comment down below the biggest issue that you currently have in the game of volleyball. If I see one that's consistent throughout the comment section, I will be sure to make a video breaking down that problem, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we are currently on the road to 250,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. So with all of that being said, let's look at the top 10 biggest mistakes to avoid in the game of volleyball. Number 1, ignoring the importance of the back row. Now, if you're like me as a volleyball player, you most likely live for the opportunities you have to play volleyball in the 3 front row rotations. After all, who doesn't love hitting and blocking the volleyball? And if you're a setter, like me, especially, I love having the opportunity to do the setter dunk. But I argue that even though the front row might be more fun to play volleyball, the back row is the more important of the 2 rows in the game. This is because the most important aspects of the game of volleyball all happen in the back row: serving and serve receive. So if you are ignoring the fact that you are not a good server, or if you're a passer, not a good serve receiver, you need to learn how to do those 2 skills in particular, because they are the 2 most important skills in the entire game of volleyball. If you learn to become a wickedly good server, it could absolutely change everything from you, because the ability to score 1, 2, or even 3 aces over the course of a set can absolutely change the entire outcome of a volleyball match. And the opposite is true. If you're able to prevent 1, 2, or 3 aces from being scored on your team and turn them into perfect passes, the potential for your volleyball team to side out that much more can absolutely change the outcome of the game. Also, although the front row definitely might have the more fun aspects of the game of volleyball, do not ignore the importance of being a back row minded volleyball player. I might just have to trademark that. Number 2, not drinking enough water. I am a big advocate when it comes to being an athlete to taking care of your body. And what I see from too many volleyball players is they're not getting enough hydration needed in order to play volleyball at peak performance. And this can be simply fixed just by drinking more water. There are 3 necessities that every human being on earth needs, and that's food, water, and oxygen. And although you're really not able to control the intake of oxygen that your body gets, you can absolutely control what you eat, and more importantly, how much liquids you're drinking. So what I recommend to make a habit out of is before every volleyball practice, drinking a full bottle of water. And then when you get to volleyball practice, make sure to fill up your water bottle and then continue drinking it throughout practice. Once volleyball practice has come to a conclusion, make sure to fill up your water bottle one more time and drink it until it's empty on the way home. You might not see the direct impact that this will have right away, but I guarantee you that this small step will help your body perform at a higher level when you are out there on the volleyball court. So go out there and drink some more water. I'm telling you, it's not cliche, it's important. The number 3 biggest mistake I see in volleyball is wearing braces when you don't need to. Now, I know there are a lot of cool volleyball accessories and equipment that you can put on your body while playing the game, but especially when it comes to knee braces, shoulder braces, ankle braces, things like that, my recommendation would be to avoid them unless you absolutely need them to play. This could cause your body to gain dependence on that piece of equipment, and it could get to the point where you're actually going to become dependent on needing that equipment to play. And this is just something you want to avoid in general, because before you were a completely healthy, normal, fine volleyball player that did not need that piece of equipment to play the game you love. So what I say is, it's good to have a brace when you're coming off an injury, but the moment that you feel that you can play the game of volleyball without wearing that brace, I highly recommend you do so. Trust me, although it might look cool to wear a bunch of braces on the volleyball court, it's definitely not necessary, and I highly recommend you protect yourself by not doing that. Complete disclaimer, I'm not counting knee pads as something that you should be avoiding, because those aren't offering extra support like a brace would. So if you like playing volleyball with knee pads, by all means continue to do so. But if you have perfectly fine knees and you want to throw a knee brace on one of your knees for some reason, just don't do it. It's not necessary, and you'll thank me later. Number 4 is a very easy one to fall into, but I hate seeing when volleyball players blame their teammates for everything. And when a game like volleyball is so dependent on being able to work well as a team, I understand how easy it is to blame your teammates for when they mess up. But if you you find yourself constantly blaming your teammates for every single thing that goes wrong in a volleyball match, what's going to happen is that you're slowly going to become ignorant of the mistakes that you made yourself. Because after all, not one human being has ever played the perfect match of volleyball. There is always a point that we wish we could get back, or something that you wish you would have done differently out there when you're playing. And to point out the sticks in the eyes of everybody else around you is ignoring the log that might be in your own. So instead of blaming all of your teammates for the mistakes that they may or may not have even made, it's a much better strategy to just become self-aware of the mistakes that you made and reflect on them after the volleyball match. Don't get too hard on yourself, but focus on what you can improve, because ultimately the only person that you can control out there on the volleyball court isn't your teammates, it's not your coach, it's not even the refs, although sometimes I wish I could control the refs and knock some sense into them. No, the only person that you have total control over is you. So be the best at controlling yourself. Number 5 is a big mistake that'll save you from getting in a lot of trouble: undermining your coach. As much as you might think that your volleyball coach has it out for you and they want nothing more than to see you burn to the ground, I am here to tell you that that is absolutely the farthest thing from the truth. Although your coach might not do things that you don't appreciate, or you might be sitting here thinking, I'm not getting the playing time that I deserve, ultimately every single volleyball coach out there has a plan. It might not be what you think to be the best of plans, but more likely it's probably just not the plan that you want it to be. And if this leads you to behaviors such as talking back to your coach, not trying during drills, or not listening to the advice that they're giving you, what I'm telling you now is cut that crap out now. You want to be a volleyball player that is coachable. It won't only help you out on the volleyball court, but I'm telling you, it'll help you live a happier and more fulfilling life. Be an athlete who strives to be coachable. It'll make all of the difference. Let me draw up a scenario for mistake number 6. You probably had that one teammate who's always complaining about their shoulder hurting, or their knees hurting, or their back hurting. Something's always hurting with this one player, right? But I see too many volleyball players not taking stretching seriously, and this could be seriously detrimental to your overall health when you're trying to play the game of volleyball. I'm not gonna lie, volleyball is one of those sports that puts a lot of wear and tear on your body because of the constant jumping that is involved in the sport. And you need to have countermeasures against all of this wear and tear that might occur, and the best way to prevent that is simply by stretching. You can knock out 2 mistakes in this video with one simple step by stretching. And instead of going out and buying that brace that you think you need for your knee pain, what I recommend you do is just try some simple quad stretches instead. That'll most likely take care of the problem, and there you have it, 2 big volleyball mistakes avoided. When your volleyball season comes to an end, the best thing that you could possibly do for your body is just take 2 weeks off. If you're like me and it's super hard to take 2 weeks without doing any sort of physical exercise, what I recommend you do instead is just do some very light physical exercise and nothing super highly intense, like playing the game of volleyball. This is because most likely your body had just been playing volleyball for 5 to 6 days every week for multiple hours. It is very natural for your body to be worn down by the time your season ends, and it is your responsibility to take a little bit of rest before you find yourself back out there on the volleyball court. What I do after every volleyball season ends for me is as follows. I take a full month off from playing the sport of volleyball. Now, I absolutely love the game of volleyball. It has become my entire career and a way of life for me, but I also realize that I'm going to need a break. And so what I will do for this month is during the first 2 weeks, I won't go to the gym and I won't lift any weights, which if you don't know, I usually lift weights about 5 to 6 times a week. And during these 2 weeks, if I want to go out and get physical exercise, I have a mountain bike, and that's one of my side hobbies. So I'll take my mountain bike, go find some trails, and that's what I'll use as some exercise. In the next 2 weeks, what I'll do is get back in the gym and slowly start getting back into my regular routines of lifting and doing plyometrics. By the time that full month of rest is up, I'll find that I'll be ready to go back out there, and usually at this time of the year, it's good to play outdoor volleyball, and that's usually what I'll end up doing. So now, while I'm not recommending that you take an entire month off of the game of volleyball, what I think you should do is at least take 2 weeks where you're not doing exercises that have anything to do with the skills of playing volleyball. AKA, just don't play volleyball for 2 weeks. Go on a walk, swim in a lake, ride a bike, do something else. Mistakes number 8, 9, and 10 all have to do with the mental side of the volleyball game. And at number 8, the mistake that I see so many volleyball players make is drawing comparisons to other volleyball players. Whoever is watching this video, you are on a journey yourself to become the best possible volleyball player that you can be. Notice in that entire sentence, I didn't say he, she, me. I didn't say anybody else but you, the person watching this video. You are ultimately the end goal, that being the best possible volleyball player that you can be. So while you might look around at your peers and say, oh, that volleyball player is taller than me, so they're just naturally going to be better than me. Or, hey, he jumps higher than me, I'm never going to be able to jump like him. What I recommend is focusing on yourselves. It is okay to look at everybody around you and admire what they have accomplished, but you will get the most fulfillment out of the game of volleyball by focusing on how you can improve and become the best version of yourself. The sport of volleyball volleyball might be your team of 6 versus another team of 6, but the battle of volleyball is one when you find a way to beat yourself every day in order to become a better version of you. It's you, not them. Mistakes number 8 and 9 directly correlate with each other because when you draw comparisons to the other volleyball players around you, you make mistake number 9, which is doubting your own abilities. And let me just tell you right now that you are good at the game of volleyball. I don't care what level of volleyball that you play, I just want you to know that you are a good volleyball player. And I am so happy and proud that you love this sport just as much as I do. The worst thing that a volleyball player could possibly step out on the court and do is doubt themselves. If we're gonna get deep, for the longest time as a volleyball player, I doubted my own capabilities. I've been dealing with this issue my whole volleyball career, and especially the past 3 years have been the most difficult for me. I would just constantly find myself challenging the thought if I belonged on the court with my teammates around me. And this would cause me to play with so much anxiety, and it would directly affect my performance out there on the volleyball court. About 6 months ago, I was finally able to conquer those stupid thoughts, and that helped me play some of the best volleyball I've ever played in my life. So what I can do today is sit here and tell you that you are a good volleyball player, but those words honestly aren't going to mean anything until you start to believe in yourself. There's something so powerful in the idea of self-belief, and I need you to understand that if you want to be the best volleyball player you can possibly be, you need to take a double scoop of self-belief. And the last big mistake that I see so many volleyball players make is what I like to call losing the plot. Losing the plot refers to the idea of forgetting why you enjoy playing volleyball in the first place. Now, it's completely okay to have goals and aspirations of maybe playing in college or making the volleyball team, or even maybe becoming a professional volleyball player one day. But what I don't want you to forget is the reason that you play volleyball in the first place. And what I'm hoping is the case for many of the people watching this video is that you're able to use volleyball as a happy place, something that can be an outlet from the struggles and challenges that we face as humans in daily life. And if you find that volleyball is starting to become a burden or not fun for you anymore, what I highly recommend you do is remind yourself of why you played the game to begin with. And if you truly aren't having fun with the sport anymore, it is completely okay and even necessary to take a little bit of a break. I said earlier that after every volleyball season ends, I take an entire month where I don't play any volleyball. And not only do I do that purposely for my physical health, I also do it for my mental health, because I know that if I'm playing volleyball 365 days out of the year, I'm just gonna grow tired of it. I know it sounds crazy that PME Volleyball would say he would grow tired of volleyball, but this is true for everything that you enjoy in life. You just need to remember the reasons why you enjoy it in the first place. And if you lose the plot of that enjoyment, it's okay to take a break until you find it again. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would wrap up the list of the top 10 biggest mistakes that PME Volleyball sees volleyball players make. I hope this video has the ability to help you locate some of these mistakes that you might have made in your volleyball career, and I hope that I've done a good job at offering some solutions in order to fix those. If you guys have been enjoying the volleyball content lately, make sure to leave a huge thumbs up on this video, comment down below what the biggest mistake that you currently battle with in your volleyball career is, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are on the road to 250,000 subscribers. With all of that being said, I want to thank you again for watching this video. PME Volleyball is out. Go out there and enjoy the game of volleyball, and I will catch you in the next upload. Peace.